The Two Daughters of Madame Uganma. In the ancient kingdom of Ndidya, where the sun rose like a golden drumbeat and the moon danced gently upon the rooftops, there lived a woman named Madame Uganma. She was the wife of a wealthy farmer, Okeke the palm merchant, who owned vast lands of yam, cassava, and palm trees that reached toward the clouds. But when Okeke died suddenly of a fever that even the healers could not cure, the sun seemed to set early for his household. Uganma was left with her own daughter, Alubub, and her late husband's child from his first wife, Kachi. Kachi was the gentle type, humble as the morning dew and as beautiful as the first light that touches the riverbank. Her voice was soft, her steps quiet, and her eyes reflected kindness. But Uganma's heart was crooked like a dried stick. She loved only her daughter Alubub, a proud, lazy girl who thought herself a queen already. While Kachi rose with the cockcrow to sweep the compound, fetch firewood, and cook the morning meal, Alubub slept until the sun climbed halfway into the sky. "Why do you pamper her like a chick under your wing?" the neighbors whispered. "She is my blood," Uganma replied sharply. "The other one is just a shadow left behind by death." And so it was that day by day Kachi's tears became her only companions. When the harvest season came, the drums of Ndidya beat loud and strong. The marketplace was alive with color, traders shouting, dancers moving like wind, and young maidens singing songs of love beneath the irako tree. Kachi longed to join them, but Uganma would not let her. "Stay home and grind the pepper," she barked. "Do you think you are one of those free girls dancing for suitors?" Meanwhile, Alubub went out in bright wrappers, her wrists glittering with beads, her lips painted red as palm wine. She twirled before the young men, especially when the royal guards passed by. One afternoon Uganma hatched a wicked plan. "If only that Kachi would get lost in the forest," she murmured to herself. "Then my daughter would be the fairest in the land." She called Kachi that evening. "My daughter," she said in a voice sweet as honey mixed with pepper, "go and fetch water from the stream. The pots are empty." Kachi looked at the sky. It was already dark, the kind of night when elders say, the river spirits wake to sing their own songs. "Mother, the stream is forbidden after sunset," Kachi said softly. Uganma's face tightened. "Are you disobeying me?" Kachi shook her head. "No, mother." "Then go," Uganma hissed. "And do not return until the pots are full." The night was thick and quiet. Even the crickets sang softly as though afraid. Kachi carried her clay pot on her head, walking down the narrow path to Umuoma stream, the one no maiden dared to visit after dusk. Old tales said the stream belonged to Miri Nwanyi, the river spirit who spoke only to those with clean hearts. Some said she appeared as a woman wrapped in white light. Others said her voice came through the rustling of the wind. When Kachi reached the stream, the moon spilled silver across the water. She knelt to fill her pot, whispering, "May the spirits be kind tonight." Suddenly a soft sound broke the silence. Footsteps, then the snap of a twig. Her heart raced. She turned swiftly. Out of the shadows stepped a tall young man dressed in simple hunter's cloth, but his bearing was noble. His skin gleamed like bronze under moonlight, and his eyes held both curiosity and warmth. "Do not be afraid," he said gently. "I heard a voice singing by the stream and I followed it." Kachi lowered her gaze. "You should not be here, stranger. This is forbidden ground." The man smiled faintly. "Perhaps fate wanted us both to break the rule tonight." The stranger helped her lift the heavy water pot. "My name is Obinna," he said, though he hid his true identity, for he was none other than Prince Obinna of Ndidya, heir to the throne. He had come to the stream after a strange dream. In it, a river had whispered, "The one who hears my song will find the voice of his heart." He had awoken restless, taken his bow, and walked alone to the stream, where he now stood face to face with the very maiden from his vision. As they talked, Kachi's shyness melted into laughter. Her voice was music to his ears. When she spoke of her life, her chores, her stepmother's cruelty, and her wish to one day see happiness, his heart clenched. Before she left, Obinna said, "May I see you again?" Kachi smiled faintly. "If the spirits allow." She walked away, her pot balanced perfectly, and the prince watched her disappear into the moonlit path, knowing his destiny had changed. The next morning, Prince Obinna returned to the palace with her face still burning in his mind. He could not eat nor speak. His father, King Nwori, noticed. "My son," the king said, "you wander as though a spirit has touched you." The prince replied, "Indeed, father. The river spoke to me." He sent his guards to search for a maiden who fetched water from the forbidden stream at night, but none knew her name. Meanwhile, word spread through the market that the prince was seeking a mysterious maiden. Young girls rushed to the palace in fine clothes, claiming to be her. But Obina shook his head each time. Her eyes were like calm water, her heart pure. I will know her when I see her. In the corner of the market, Kachi overheard the rumors, but she said nothing. She was a humble girl, and who would believe that a prince could care for a poor orphan like her? Days passed, and the annual festival of lights approached, when maidens from every village danced before the king to honor the ancestors. Yuganma dressed her daughter Alubub in shimmering cloth and beads. Tonight, she said, the prince shall see you and all our days of poverty shall end. Kachi was told to stay home. But as she sat alone, an old woman passed by the compound, a stranger whose eyes shone like fireflies. My child, why do you sit in darkness when the world celebrates? The woman asked. Kachi bowed. I have no clothes for the dance. The old woman smiled, touched her forehead and said, the river remembers those who listen to its song. When Kachi looked up again, the old woman had vanished, and before her lay a wrapper woven from moonlight and beads that glowed softly. When Kachi arrived at the festival, no one recognized her. She glided into the crowd like a spirit descended from the stars. The drums beat louder, the flutes sang higher. Prince Obina, seated beside his father, saw her and stood at once. That is her, he whispered. As Kachi danced, her feet barely touched the earth. Her smile was light, her movements graceful. The crowd cheered, calling her, the River Maiden. When the dance ended, Obina stepped forward. Who is your family? He asked softly. Kachi hesitated. I am the daughter of late Okeke the palm merchant. Gasps filled the air. The king nodded slowly. Then fate indeed moves through the stream, he said. For your father once saved my life in the war years ago. Yuganma's heart sank. Her wickedness began to tremble like leaves before rain. The prince declared that he would visit Kachi's home the next day. Yuganma was thrown into confusion. That night, she dragged Kachi to the backyard. You witch, she hissed. What charm did you use to blind the prince? None, mother, Kachi said quietly. Perhaps love is a charm of its own. In anger, Yuganma seized a calabash and smashed it to the ground. You will never marry him. At that very moment, a strong wind blew. The same voice that spoke to Obina whispered through the trees. What is written in water cannot be burnt by fire. Kachi fell to her knees, tears in her eyes, but this time they were tears of freedom. The next morning, Prince Obina arrived with royal guards and elders. He bowed before Yuganma's compound. Madam, he said, I seek your daughter Kachi's hand in marriage. Yuganma tried to speak, but her tongue felt heavy. Alubub burst into tears, shouting, It should have been me. The prince turned to her kindly. Beauty without kindness is like a drum with no sound, he said. When the elders blessed the union, a strange calm filled the air. Even the wind seemed to sing softly from the direction of the stream. The wedding was celebrated for 7 days and 7 nights. The kingdom of Ndidia glowed with laughter and joy. Kachi, now Queen Kachi of Ndidia, wore a crown shaped like rippling water, a gift from the river goddess herself. One day she visited her stepmother, now weak and poor. Yuganma fell at her feet, weeping. My child, I have sinned against you. Forgive me. Kachi raised her gently. Mother, a river does not withhold water from those who thirst. I forgive you. From that day peace returned to the land. The people sang of the maiden who fetched water when no one dared, and found love where others feared to go. And every full moon, when the wind rustled through the trees near the old stream, the villagers said they could still hear a soft voice whisper. Love speaks only to those who listen. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the story. Please subscribe for more stories.